Your Town Matters is funded by the Government of Canada through the Local Journalism Initiative and supported by Cactus Media, Canada's independent community television association.
I'm Vicki Hogarth, and welcome to Your Town Matters. My guest today is the Mayor of Eastern Charlotte, John Craig. Thank you, John, so much for sitting down with me again today.
Yeah, it's always great to be back in St. Andrews, and it's early in the morning on a Wednesday morning. And thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, let's tell people at home it's 6 a.m., so we sound extra hardworking.
Exactly.
John, I'd love to start by talking about the ongoing water quality issues in Blacks Harbour. This is something at CHCO we've been following for, I think, over a year now. And we've had recent videos sent in from some residents with discolored water, and I just wonder, you live in Blacks Harbour as well, so you experience this firsthand.
We're moving ahead very fast with this, and very positive note. This year, since January, the relationship between Connors Brothers and Eastern Charlotte is the very best. It's never been this good, actually. They're working very closely with every step of they're doing. We're meeting with my manager at least once a week, and the information is going back and forth. This never happened before, and that was a major improvement right there. There's going to be some changes coming up this year. Connors Brothers have want to bring in a filtration system, and they're bringing one in from California to attach to the system, so the water will be filtrated before it goes into the reservoirs. This past week, they call it a pig. It goes through the system, and it mapped all the lines going from the source into Blacks Harbour. It kind of cleaned the lines, but it also mapped out all the lines, and it also found one of the leaks. There's been an ongoing issue with a leak in one of the pipes, and they couldn't find it. It found the leak this past weekend, so Connors Brothers are going to be able to address that right away and get that pipe fixed. And once they get that fixed, that should close the system right up. There've been times when we've had heavy rains and that sort of issue with dirt getting into the system. If they get this pipe fixed, that should fix that issue. But there will be a filtration system going in as well, and Connors Brothers are working very closely with my management team to make sure that they're giving us all the information and working close hand in hand together. So it's been working very well. I'm not saying we're going to get this all figured out in within a year, but it's been many years to why we're here. So we're going to try. We're working very fast and getting things done. Water is a major issue. As far as I'm concerned, this is one of the top issues of Eastern Charlotte. To making sure the water issue in Blacks Harbour is that problem is solved, and we figure that to be our top priority.
Around this time last year, there were boil water orders. That hasn't been the case though recently, yet it's still discolored.
Yeah, there's been some cases. It's hit and miss around Blacks Harbour. It's not all the places in Blacks Harbour, like French Village, really hasn't been touched. It has been pretty good, and some other areas have not been touched at all. It's been a pretty good summer. There's been a few isolated incidents, and but we had our public works person will go to the house and figure out what's going on and try to figure it out, and then we do some flushing, and we've been trying to do that. Now they figure what the problem is. It's been a broken pipe from it was actually up just south of Justice and Lane, which is further outside the village of Blacks Harbour. So that's where the pipe has been broken, so hopefully they'll get that fixed. And hopefully that will resolve the issue in the short term, and any other issues, we're working on it to making sure it's all figured out.
Okay, so this broken pipe could be the key to why you're still seeing this discoloration.
Absolutely, exactly. So now we've got the sensors on the system now, so when there's dirt gets into the system, Ricky will get a notification right away to say, look, there's dirt in the system, and so we'll stop things up and try to figure out why it is. But we test the water at least 2 to 3 times a week. and that's law. We have to do that. So the water is safe to drink, but there is been some dirt getting into the system. But it's not in every house in Blacks Harbour. Some houses, and it was according to where they are in the system, if they get dirt into their house.
For anyone who might be watching this outside of Blacks Harbour and isn't familiar with the unique circumstances of water in Blacks Harbour, can you explain how Connors Brothers is a key part of that and why it is so and different from everywhere else?
It's probably the last municipality in New Brunswick that the system isn't actually run by the municipality. That dates back in the history of Blacks Harbour, whereas Connors Brothers was Blacks Harbour. The Connors Brothers owned every aspect of Blacks Harbour. They ran the police station, the fire station, all the houses. They owned everything. And this is probably one of the last things that they still do own is the water source and the water system coming into Blacks Harbour. Once it gets into the Blacks Harbour itself, the municipality owns the pipes, but the source is they still own that.
Okay. Yeah. And is there any talks about moving away from that in the future, or is that a relationship that still will continue?
We're looking at right now where it is with the problems in New Brunswick right now. There's a possibility that we can take over. Connors Brothers, they want to hand that system over to us, or do we get our own source? So we're looking at both ways. We have engineers working on which is the best way to go. The province of New Brunswick and the federal government do not want to give us money until they figure out which is the best way to go. They're more than happy to help, but they want to figure out which way. Is it a brand new system, or do we take over the system that's already there? So that's one thing they're looking at. They're looking at the whole what it's going to cost to fix up the one that the Connors Brothers has, or do we start brand new?
Is that something that you think would get underway within the next year?
I believe so. Yeah, I believe within the next year or so. I think a lot of things. We're going to be at the point. We're going to be at the point of which way we're going to go. Absolutely. There's no two ways about that. That'll be decided which way we're going to go. And if it means taking over the Connors Brothers system, then we have to figure out what we have to do first. We have started. You always start at the source and you work your way in, because there's no use fixing the stuff close to the houses until you fix the source itself. So, but right now, between now and then, Connors Brothers are working diligently to fix all the issues. And this past weekend, with putting that pig through the system, that was part of their doing, and everything worked out very well.
Last meeting, though, Sam Ruman, a former councillor, spoke at the end to talk about the building permit process in Eastern Charlotte. I'm just wondering if you can update people at home about what his concerns were and where you're at.
Yeah, I think and respectfully with Sam does a good job, and I really appreciate him coming to council meetings. I appreciate everybody coming to the council meeting, but Sam brought up the fact that it's a slow process to what we're used to getting building permits. Used to be the day if you could go down to the town hall and get your building permit same day, and bing bang boom, you're out the door and you got it. Now it takes time. They have planners and people looking at every aspect. I think they're a little bit backed up, and they need more help at the Service Commission, because according to what Sam's saying, it's taken too long for them to issue those building permits. And so if people need help, stop by the municipal office. We can help them with it, or at least try to move things along a little faster. We don't want things to slow down, and so give us a call, and we can try to make things go a little bit faster. The Service Commission still are in charge of it, and they still have to go to St. Stephen to get the building permit, or do it online. They can do all that online as well too.
Is that one of the hiccups of amalgamation? Is that one of the factors?
Well, it definitely is one of the factors of amalgamation. That's the Service Commission do they have the professional planners, and they do all that work, and we don't have those professional people. We don't have anybody hired at our level to be able to. You have to have professional people who know the rules and regulations to save us from getting into trouble. Yeah.
One of my favorite things about Eastern Charlotte council meetings that you really do have an involved public. They come a lot to the meetings. They also speak a lot at the end when you offer them 5 minutes each to address council. Last meeting, I want to say the lady's name was Karen, was addressing her concerns over the bandstand at the Day Adventure Center. Right. Can you tell us a little bit about why it might be in disrepair at this point, and what the plans are for the future?
Yeah, council is working diligently trying to fix up what they call the day adventure area. The buildings, of course, have been taken out, and now they're trying to get since the last building has come out, they've been getting the area fixed up. The municipality's been bringing in dirt and trying to level everything out, make it look everything nice. We got to the bandstand part, and a couple of the councils looked at it, and they deem it to be unsafe. They feel that it's starting to fall apart and it's starting to actually lean into one side. So they kind of roped it off or put a ribbon across to stop people from going up because we feel it's unsafe. The council, I believe at this point are looking at having it torn down and maybe put something else new. They want to get something else new in the air. It's not like they're going to tear it down and do nothing. The council realizes that area is very important to the people of Eastern Charlotte. So a good place for people to get together. It's going to be a great place for music. Maybe even have weddings there, or even have like an area where these people can come in, like a farmers market. Have farmers market there. So what council is actually looking at different ideas of having roofed over areas with cement on the bottom part, and make sure we build it properly, just in case there are more floods, because that river is right next door to it. So in 2010, the water came up quite a ways there. So we're going to make sure whatever we build there is not going to fall apart if we do get floods. So, but the council really wants to put something there to really make it so that the public feel welcome there, go there and have different events there. We want that place to be used and be beautified by all the people of Eastern Charlotte.
I think, and the resident Karen's main concern was when would we see this come to fruition? So this would be something maybe on next summer's agenda.
I believe so. I think it's something they're going to have to definitely budget for, and now we're almost into September. We're going to be starting work on starting in September. We'll be starting working on next year's budget. So we put X number of dollars in there to make sure something is built there, something is replaced there. So, but right at the moment, I could say just for the safety of the people of the area, they had to go the step and rope it off to make sure that nobody did get hurt on it. So.
You mentioned the scary word September. Here we are, going into fall. One thing council will be looking at this fall is the Three Municipalities Agreement.
That's right.
Can we talk a little bit about what that is and how it will apply to Eastern Charlotte?
Yeah, what council is looking at, all three councils are looking at St. Andrews, St. Stephen, and Eastern Charlotte. They're looking at an economic development person to work for the three communities, and we would be partnered in paying the cost for that. And the CAOs of each municipality would be the boss, that person would report to, and the idea is that economic development person, each area would have their own priorities. Our priorities would probably be housing, bringing more business in and more growth in the population. Those sort of things. Each area would have their own. St. Andrews could be all different. Could be more tourism related. I have no idea, but the CEOs would dictate to that person what the priorities are, coming from the councils. The council will talk to the CEO. Okay, this is what we want to see, and then the person would report to the CEOs. Yeah.
So it would be a liaison between the three communities that way.
Absolutely. It's three communities working together. And if we work together, we'd probably get a top-notch person that really maybe has a lot of contacts with businesses or companies that that may want to come to the area, to have a lot of contacts. So this person may not even be from Charlotte County, maybe somebody from some other part of New Brunswick or even Ontario for that matter. But the idea of the three of us work together financially on it, and that person would be, like I say, hired by all three communities.
Okay, so their role would be to go to the different council meetings, meet with the different councils, and see the priorities. And
no, I wouldn't see him meeting with going to council meetings sort of thing. He may be at one initial meeting, but he reports to the CEO. The CEO, of course, reports to the council. So, I mean, maybe one initial meeting, that sort of thing. But the council would tell the CEO, "This is what we want to see, and we'd like to see some results over the next year of getting more housing in the area, more businesses moved to the area." Like for us, for example, exit 56 over there by Tim Hortons, there's an area there that really needs water and sewage. And we know that, and we're getting a study done on that. if we get the water and sewage put in, there's other companies that want to come to the area, that want to build in that area, and more businesses that want to come there, and more housing. So there's lots of room to grow on that side of the St. George. So that's an example. That person could be working on making sure companies are coming to the area, want to come here, get them signed up, getting. I think once you get one or two big ones coming in, and we already know there's one or two already that want to come, there'll be more knocking on the door wanting to come to this area. So.
On the topic of September, there's back to school, back to work. Childcare has obviously been an issue you've been looking at council. Can you give us an update on where you're at with the YMCA in the community?
Yeah, things are moving ahead, not as fast as what most people would like to see. I believe that we've got some costs come in on at least two different options on building, and council's got to look at it. And I think one came in quite a bit higher than they thought it would come in. So, but there's different options they're looking at. But we're going to work closely with the YMCA. This is not a partnership. This is not something that we're doing by ourselves. This is a partnership with the YMCA and the public themselves. Maybe some companies as well and get involved too. But this is something that we're getting the full cost before we move ahead with it. Yeah.
Okay. Last time you were here, we were talking about a string of break-ins that had happened in churches throughout Eastern Charlotte. We've seen this throughout Charlotte County. When it comes to crime in the community, can you give us an update on what you're experiencing and how the RCMP are responding?
We haven't had a big issue. We did have the churches, absolutely, and I know they're still investigating all of that. Yeah, I have weekly discussions with actually our corporal. The one I deal with is the same one in St. Andrews right now, because Sergeant Henderson is off at the moment, but no, the RCMP are out there. I called them the other day to find out if we have all night police out there at all times, and they assured me that they are out there. They stagger their shifts so that there's always somebody out there. I can't divulge the times they're up there. That's where they're at, because that's all kept secret. But that's up to them. But the thing, we've had no major issues in Eastern Charlotte so far. You're always going to have some crime, but it hasn't been a bad summer at all.
Mm-hmm. And on the topic of homelessness, what are you experiencing in Eastern Charlotte at this moment?
We have some, but nothing to what St. Stephen has. They're going to say there is. I won't say there's none, but there's not a lot as compared to other areas. No.
We're filming this episode in the final days of August, and we are going to talk about Fog Fest at the end of the show, but people will be watching this in September as well. Sure. What is ahead for council in terms of looking ahead to fall 2024?
I think the big thing with council right now is we're going to have to sit down more often. They've had quite a bit of the summer off. They've been just meeting once or twice. We're going to be meeting a lot this fall and going into the winter, getting prepared. The biggest thing is the budget. Working on next year's budget. Our goal with the budget is to try to have two tax rates. That is the goal. Now, whether we achieve that or not, I'm not going to promise anything, but that is the goal, to try to achieve two tax rates. One tax rate for the outside areas, the old outside areas, and one tax rate for the inside areas. St. George and Blacks Harbour, we'd like to make sure that tax rate would be similar, very close, and the ones on the outside, to have them basically the same. So right now we got different wards, and everyone's a different tax rate. The goal is to try to make it equal. The perception is to make sure it's fair, and that's the one thing we have to work really hard. And that if that means cutting costs, we have to do it. But we've got to try to do that this coming fall. And that's probably our biggest thing we have to work on come September and October, is the next year's budget.
So we'd be looking at doing maybe a tiered system that looks at services and sees how they apply to where someone lives.
Well, yeah, because the services are there for everybody. Eastern Charlotte, it's just some areas, like for example, outside St. George and Blacks Harbour, they don't have the public works, so they don't have to pay for the public works people. So there's different services they may not get on the outside areas, so the tax rate may not be as high. But like I say, Blacks Harbour really has the highest tax rate of the whole area still, and we're trying to make sure that that gets leveled out a little bit better too as well.
It's always worth saying that you are the mayor of a community that probably experienced some of the most dramatic amalgamation in New Brunswick. How is that going with the community? What's the feedback? Do things seem to be smoothing out in terms of how people feel about it?
Yeah, whoever you talk to, you're going to get a different answer. And I think the taxes, and go back up to the taxes. The taxes is the biggest thing. I think, and I was very honest to people before amalgamation. I personally wasn't for amalgamation, but when people asked me what does this mean, when I was on the outside areas, and I told them, it means your taxes are going to go up. This whole thing was formed by the province of New Brunswick. They forced it onto us, amalgamation onto us, and it meant higher taxes for the outside areas. There's things that they're paying for that they never had to pay for before, such as everybody's sharing on the fire departments, everybody's sharing on the arenas, everybody's sharing on the macadamic place, everybody is paying like council and mayor, that people never had to pay for that before. So there's different things that they never had to pay for before, which means their taxes have gone up. But this is all formed by the province of New Brunswick. They knew this going ahead, what this is all about. So I was very frank about it, very open about this is what it's all about, and every mayor will probably tell you the same thing. But what we're trying to do is do the best job we can with what we have. So.
Last time you were here, it was right before Summerfest. Now you're here right before Fogfest. I can't believe it. People might be watching this after Fogfest, but for those who have the privilege of watching it before, for those watching it after, this is more incentive to come out next year. But can you give us a little breakdown of the Fog Festival for, I said Fog Fest, which is Campobello. I know, I will be corrected on that. It's Fog Festival in Blacks Harbour. I apologize. Easy slip to make, but tell us what's on the schedule for this year.
There's lots of stuff going on every day from Friday right up until Sunday. As a couple of years ago, I think 2 or 3 years ago, they put everything all together. Instead of going to Monday, they try to do everything on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and try to push everything into 3 days instead of 4. But there's a senior social on Friday. The one new thing this year is Friday night. It's called the Eastern Charlotte Kitchen Party, and there's 2 performers playing that night. The Take Two, and then there's Sean and Tina. They're basically the Richard families, and they're going to be playing music upstairs at the arena. And it's a great time for the older folks to get together and to have an old-fashioned kitchen party. So that's from 9 o'clock at night to 1 o'clock in the morning on Friday night. Then we get into the community breakfast on Saturday. And then we have the carnivals. We have music on Saturday night with Ivan Daigle playing music, and then there'll be fireworks afterwards. On Saturday night. There's all kinds of things I could be here talking. There's a community church service, and the big thing on Sunday, of course, is the festival parade, and it's a nautical theme this year. And it starts at people get together around 5 o'clock. Parade starts at 5:30, leaves the arena, and goes right down to the old Fresh Mart building at Blacks Harbour. So hopefully the weather will cooperate. It'll be a great time for all. This is an event for all Eastern Charlotte. It's just being centered in Blacks Harbour. The big thing, the other big thing is the annual horse bowl, and that's not in most areas of Charlotte County don't have that. And this is an annual event in Blacks Harbour, and that's going to be 1 o'clock on Sunday. So make sure you're able to get out and watch the annual horse bowl. It's quite interesting to watch. And
so exciting. What's even more exciting is just how many people come out for it. So if you haven't been to a horse bowl before, I highly recommend it. You skipped over one of my favorite things, and I think you know what it is.
The soapbox derby, exactly. We have a soapbox derby, and that's going to be at 9:30 on Saturday morning. So that's an event that seems to be growing every year, and it goes down the hill there, right after the Hooper store, going down the hill towards the plant there. So it's
I can't describe how thrilling it is, and I feel like anyone who maybe didn't place as well as they thought at the soapbox derby at Summerfest can come out and reclaim the gold, right?
Exactly. Now on Monday too, I just want to remind everybody too, the Eastern Charlotte Community Kitchen will still have their supper at 5 o'clock that night. And I believe on Monday they're going to have this smoked brisket meal, and there's all kinds and that's in memory of Dot Hanley too that night too. So that's that kind of, there is something on Monday too, like say with that event. So it's lots of stuff going on all weekend. If things get changed, because say we do get a lot of rain, we have a lot of wiggle room there to move things from one day to another. We could move some stuff to Monday if we had to. So we'll play it by ear and see how the weather goes for the weekend. I could say that, and then again tomorrow night, Thursday night is the last night for the what I call the music going on at the Macadamic Place, the summer concert series. It's the last night. This is a sad time of the year because we've gone every Thursday night, and it's been a great time. And I've gone to almost every one of them. There's a couple of nights I've missed because of meetings, but it's a good time. There's great music at the Macadamic Place, so make sure they come out this coming tomorrow night, Thursday night, Macadamic Place, and it's the last night. It's been, and they have a 50-50 draw there for. They've had one there for the fire department or the Eastern Charlotte Search and Rescue. They've been there doing the 50-50, and the food banks have been doing the hot dogs. So it's been a good community event.
Well, as we say goodbye to summer, John, I just want to thank you for always coming in to do your updates throughout even vacation time. I appreciate it so much, and I look forward to you coming back this fall.
Great. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
My guest today has been the Mayor of Eastern Charlotte, John Craig. I'm Vicki Hogarth. Thank you for watching Your Town Matters.